Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a really long time since I've actually sat down and made a film for you guys, but I've been super busy with work and other things that I haven't been able to film. Now that we're on lockdown, I have a lot more free time on my hands, so I thought what a good opportunity to make a video. Please leave a comment down below of how you guys are getting on with lockdown and what you guys are up to during this crazy time. I'd love to read those comments. Today's video is not a visa related video, it's actually a video on a question that I get asked all the time on my channel. It's not always asked in the politest of ways and I've never really replied back to those comments, but that's because I've always wanted to make this video, so I've saved it all up until now. And that question is why I chose to marry somebody from back home rather than a British born person. Before I answer the question, I just want to say I don't want to offend anybody watching this video. That is not my intention at all. I don't want to appear as stuck up either. It's just how I feel and how I felt from the experiences that I've had. Of course, I've had better experiences now that I'm a bit older and I don't feel exactly the same way, though I am working on it still. So I've somehow developed an aversion to British born Asian people, and I think that comes from the negativity I experienced growing up. The first negative experience I had was in primary school. The school I went to didn't really have much of a mixed culture. It was mainly Pakistani people or English people, and I of course gravitated more towards the Pakistani people because, you know, they look like me, we had the same culture, and because I was the only Bengali person in my year group, they didn't feel the same way. I was different. So I instead decided to hang around with the English group of friends and we got on really well. And that was quite a happy time for me. I was happy being with them. That was my first negative experience of Asian people, and since then I haven't really been in an Asian group of friends. I've never really approached them anymore. I've kind of just felt as that's not my place. I then went on to secondary school and I grew apart from my English friends. Of course the culture's quite different, and as we got older, they got into drinking and staying out late, which is not something that I could do. I had a curfew, I had to be at home, so I kind of gravitated away from them. And I made friends with girls that were new to the country. They were from abroad, their parents had moved to the UK and they had come to my hometown studying at my school, and I became really good friends with them. I have a friend who's Turkish, one who's Iranian, one who's from Georgia, somebody from Zambia. I had friends from Somalia, and still I did have a couple of English friends. I had a Pakistani friend who was a little bit different to the others. Yeah, I had a really good group of friends. I'm still friends with a lot of those. I had a really happy time in secondary school with that group of friends. Moved on to college and it was pretty much the same thing as well. Again, I was the only Bengali person in my year group that whole time. And then I went to uni. A lot of my friends went to different unis. I stayed in my hometown, and because I did not attend Freshers Week, I found that groups of friendships had already formed by the time I joined. You know, people going out drinking together, people living in halls together. They'd already created their friendship groups, so I really struggled to make friends at uni. A lot of them were English because I chose to do film and media production. So that was just their lifestyle and I didn't fit into it. Instead, I made friends with people at the library on other courses. They were Indian students actually, and a Sri Lankan student was one of my closest friends while I was there. And I got on really well with them, and they were really surprised at why I would even talk to them, which I didn't understand. And they told me that they found British born Asian people kind of saw themselves above everybody else, everyone that was born back home. Something that I have never felt before. I never understood it. Who am I to say that I'm not going to speak to you because you were born back home? Like, people are all the same, so it never made sense to me. But they told me that that's how they felt, that's how they felt they were being treated. And after they mentioned it, I did see it. I couldn't see it before, but yeah, it is something that I saw. It's kind of sad, really. Of course, I did continue to meet my friends outside of uni who lived in the area. There were a few Bengali people in the area that I got on well with as well, I grew up with. They just weren't in my class, and they went to different schools. And I still attend weddings and things, and that's sort of the time I realised also they weren't for me. They were very into, you know, wearing their branded clothes, and at weddings you'd find that they'd bring cars in that were expensive cars, revving engines, things like that. They just sit in their cars, smoke, listen to loud music, drive around the block. It just wasn't the lifestyle that I was into. It wasn't really very attractive, you know, the way they spoke. And again, it put me off getting with an Asian person. These were Bengali boys as well, so yeah, it really put me off it. Anyway, after uni finished, of course my parents were going to think about me getting married, and you know, my mum encouraged me to go on dating sites, my brother encouraged me to go on these Muslim speed dating things, which I didn't do, but I did go on to Shadi.com. It's very popular amongst the Asian crowd. I'm sure a lot of you guys know about it. And I did meet a couple of guys on there. I dated one guy a couple of times and it just didn't work out in the end. I found that a lot of people on there weren't after someone to marry. Some people on there were just there to have fun, which wasn't what I was on there for. And again, it kind of just put me off it and I came away from it. My parents then did introduce me to a couple of guys who came to the house, but I just didn't want to know. It worried me so much, and I know they were doing their best to try and find me somebody who could, you know, afford to look after me, somebody with a good job, but that wasn't completely what I was looking for. Yes, it'd be nice to have somebody with a good job who can look after me financially, but I did want somebody who would look after me more emotionally, somebody who would thought the same way, more of a friendship. I wanted it all to happen naturally rather than being put with someone. I was open to meeting these guys and getting to know them for about a year or so, but when we met we weren't compatible, so kind of left it. And then when my husband asked me to marry him, I was in two minds completely. I just didn't know what to do. I didn't think I was going to marry an Asian person, let alone somebody from back home. I had to write a list out on the pros and cons between both. Marrying someone British would have been really easy for me. Yes, though I may move into their house at some point, we could probably move out into our own house. They know how to speak English, they can do their own thing, I'll do my own thing. Our cultures are pretty much the same. There won't be any misunderstandings there, it's just a lot easier. And I know that marrying somebody back home would mean that I'd have to put a lot more effort in. You know, I'd have to take this person to the doctors all the time, I'd have to take them to the dentist all the time, I'd have to read all their letters and explain all their letters to them. You know, it's just a lot more work. I wasn't worried about the visa. I didn't really realise it was such a big problem, like it was such a stressful thing. Until of course I got married, but it was just all the other things that I was worried about. You know, this person is going to be quite dependent on me, so it's a lot of stress in that way. But you know, I was willing to do it. I found the right person, so it was something that I was willing to do, and this was before we even got married. I thought, you know what, that doesn't matter, I'll get through it. It was mainly the fact that I don't have to move out of my parents' home or my hometown. You know, when we do eventually move out, we'll still be looking at moving out somewhere here. I could keep my job, I could keep my friends, I didn't have to make new ones. So that was one of the biggest selling points, I think, and I know it sounds very selfish, but I couldn't see myself marrying and moving away from my parents' home into my husband's parents' home, and leaving my whole life behind me. You know, for him it's a lot easier. He doesn't have to change his life stays completely the same, and it's just that he's got a wife to come home to, whereas for me I'd have to do all the cooking, the cleaning and all that, which is something that, you know, my mum didn't bring me up to do that. I'm one of three, I'm the only girl, so I was treated like one of the boys, I guess. So for me, I don't know how to cook and clean. That would be too daunting. My parents were good in that they were looking for a small family for me because they know that I couldn't deal with a big family, but even that scared me as well. So for me it was better, I thought, to marry somebody from back home who I got on with really, really well, who genuinely cared about me, and have them come to stay with me and come join my life. And that was the reason why I decided to marry somebody from back home. I don't share those same feelings about being better than them, or I don't see myself like that. You know, I see us as two people who just had different lifestyles, different upbringings. Luckily, my husband thinks a lot like I do, and I don't know if that's to do with him being brought up in the city rather than the village. So yes, I think he's a little bit more modern. Bangladesh is a little bit more modern now than it was when I was younger. They're a lot more advanced than we think. Yeah, I'm really happy with the decision that I made, and I hope this video is a bit of an eye-opener. Also, before I go, I just want to say that, you know, a lot has changed and my feelings have changed quite a bit about British-born Asian people. I just think it was the experiences that I had when I was younger. You guys who watch my channel, I know a lot of you are British-born Asian people and you're absolutely amazing. I get on really, really well with you guys. I have a lot of girls that come to my workplace for treatments. I work in a laser hair removal clinic, and the girls are lovely. I get on so well with them. A lot of them request to be with me, to have their treatments with me. So if I didn't get on with them, they wouldn't request me. So yeah, things have changed a lot, and I know there are guys out there as well that are very similar to me, who are also British born, who don't have the same attitudes that the guys I knew growing up did. I just never met them. I never met that person. I did try a little bit and then it just never happened. So that's it, yeah. So I just wanted to bring that story to you guys. I wanted to answer that question for a lot of you guys as well. I do want to do a story time video as well. If you like videos like this, please give it a thumbs up. I do want to do visa related Q&A videos. I'll be putting up a post where you can ask your questions on there, and I'll be answering each question in its own video. So yeah, lots of videos to come hopefully. So please subscribe to see those, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day, take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye!